Hey everybody, welcome back to another Judgment commentary of Owarimonogatari, but today we're going to be checking out episode 12, and last time, on episode 11, Gaien gave us even more exposition about what had been going on that led to pretty much everything that has happened throughout this series. Seriously, it goes that far back. She explained that the reason the First, that's what I'm going to call him from now on, the First because it's easier, arrived here in Aragi's town was because this is his hometown. He's actually from here, so he was naturally drawn back to it. And once he arrived back in town, he took advantage of the weakened guardian of the shrine and then just turned the place into a feeding ground for himself, drawing in a bunch of spiritual aberrations and then consuming them so that he could try to recover his physical form. As he is a vampire, his kind naturally draws the supernatural to them. All was going well until Araragi swooped in with that charm that Oshino gave him, which dispersed all of the spiritual energy in the area, which could have easily spelled his demise if it wasn't for the fact that he and Shinobu decided to go to the shrine to travel back in time. And in that brief moment where Shinobu was close to him, it gave him enough energy to recover his form in just under a week. To the point where now, he full-on has his body back. Or, well, he has a body back. And she explains that him showing up in town is actually one of the reasons that Araragi has had to deal with all the supernatural nonsense that he's been, well, going through. His presence draws them here. In fact, it was his presence that even drew Shinobu here, even though she didn't realize it. Him showing up in town set off the chain of events that led to where we are now, with Shinobu coming to town, gathering up all those specialists to take her down, Araragi finding her, him becoming her second minion, and so on and so forth. It gives us a truly succinct answer as to why Araragi just keeps dealing with so many aberrations every other day of the week. It's because this guy has been drawing them into town. Of course, as I was reminded of, they did say in the past that one who meets an aberration is more likely to meet one in the future, but Araragi encountering them so frequently is still weird even for that, and it's because the first minion was here, and he was gathering all of them around, and Araragi being so closely connected to so many other aberrations just multiplied the problem. So yeah, always nice to get some answers, even if she did provide them in a somewhat vague way at first. It makes everything all tie back together quite nicely. But now we can get into the penultimate chapter of Owarimonogatari, but before we do, let me say one thing. I'm feeling a little under the weather right now, so sorry if that makes me a little distracted. I just really wanted to record this despite the fact that I'm feeling a little sick when I don't usually get sick that often these days, so this is a very rare occurrence. And I'm thankful that it hasn't affected my voice because otherwise it would definitely be getting in the way right now. So anyway, enough rambling on about stuff that's not important. Let us just begin. In the majority of events, chronologically after Kizu, Araragi does not have a good track record of fighting things. He kinda just gets ragdolled for a little while, and he's a bit weaker now because he's separated from Shinobu, but even if he wasn't, even bolstering his power a little bit still ended with him getting thrown around. Although I imagine the First here probably doesn't have too much power of his own at this point. He is probably in a weakened state as well, although maybe he is no weaker than Shinobu would be on the regular in this form. Have they established what they're going to be dueling with? Bare hands? Swords, perhaps? I mean, one's a frickin' samurai, so I'd imagine he would want to use a sword. But I must say, this became a love triangle very, very quickly. I mean, yeah, that's what this is. The twist was that after all this time, he did not want revenge. He said he was going to take a lateness fee on the sword. Not sure what that was about. Maybe he was just trying to sound intimidating. Or maybe he's just being playful, I don't know. But he wants forgiveness. He wants to get back together with her after all this time. And he saw it as a more romantic relationship, probably, given the wording. And now he's literally about to duel Araragi for her hand here. But, of course, even if he were to win, doesn't mean she's going to necessarily choose him. This is not the olden days where you're just dueling for people. They now have a choice in the matter. But yeah, hell of a good dialogue in terms of what Suruga and Shinobu were going back and forth with there. I mean, it was just discussing a very nuanced subject like that, with Saruga representing the merits of just being honest with somebody and just telling them how you feel rather than avoiding them, because obviously it's more cruel to just leave them hanging than it is to just tell them like it is. If you respect or care about them at all, you should just tell them how you feel. Is pretty much the takeaway. And just getting on to Shinobu for lacking apparent social skills, and yeah, maybe she does to an extent. I mean, she's not dealt with much in this arena before. And Saruga felt personally attached to the first in this instance because she has had to be on the sidelines while somebody else got to be with the person they love. Honestly, quite the interesting episode. Really pulled the rug out from under it by having the twist be that he wanted to get back together with her and didn't want revenge, even though he made it really seem like that's what he wanted. I mean, initially, he just tried to straight up kill Araragi, so not sure how well that would have gone with his plan of getting forgiveness. Unless he wasn't really trying to kill him and just wanted to spook him a bit so he could give her the message. And it's interesting that Saruga was defending the first here, even though she didn't really have a way to know that he wanted forgiveness. She just assumed that that was a possibility, when as far as she knew, he only wanted her dead. I guess she read between the lines there. She's clever like that. But also, we had the return of Episode. Yeah, he decided to pop back in real quick and chuck the frickin' cross at him. And I'm sure he's just gonna be waiting in the wings for the outcome of the duel to swoop in and take out the first here. Because is there really an outcome where he doesn't die? Because they don't usually like to leave them alive, although they did leave Shinobu alive, so maybe if they find a solution they'll let him live. I don't know. Ugh, I'm tired, mostly because I'm sick. Sorry about that. But overall, I liked the episode. Had an interesting vibe. Had a very, very in-depth back and forth with Saruga and Shinobu that, yeah, you could really follow both sides of what they were saying, you know? Saruga was based in emotion, and Shinobu was trying to base hers in logic. But of course, you know, a nuanced situation like this involves both emotion and logic, not just one or the other. But as she said about Shinobu, she lacks those common social skills, so needed to just have them hammered in there. So anyway, I think that's all I gotta say for now, guys, but thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed. Subscribe to be updated on more. Let me know what you thought of the episode as well. That would be great. Next time, we got episode 13, the finale of Owarimonogatari, before we eventually go to Owari Part 2, which, you know, finishes off the rest of Owari. And when was the last time I uploaded 3 Monogatari videos in a row like this? Probably been a little while, hasn't it? But I'm shooting for 4, man. Fingers crossed that I can get the next one out, please. Because I really want to see how this one ends. This has been a very, very unique, very, very interesting arc. But like I said, that's it, guys. So till we meet again, I will see you guys later.